Good morning. Getting ready to head to Berkey here, and we're gonna pull our generator down there, our kind of spare generator, I guess at this point. I talked about our generator that we run our grain system with here in some other videos. We just bought that one back in June, I believe it was, or May, and so this is the one that we used to run it with. It's a 190 kW Coleman generator. It's got a John Deere engine in it, and it works fine. It's just getting 10,000 hours or more on it, and so we bought something a little bit bigger to replace it with. It's stationary. This one's nice because it's trailer mounted. Got a fuel tank built right into it and stuff. And since we also use a generator to run our farm grain system down to Berkey down there, we thought, well, let's take this one down there just in case we have an issue. We can swap them out real quick. And if we don't, we can store it in the barn down there where it's out of the way, since we really don't need it here and won't until probably July when we do some irrigation, because we run our irrigation with it too. So that's the plan this morning here. First thing I'm doing is just checking the tires, make sure they got enough air in them since it's been sitting for a while. I'm going to hit the fuel tank and make sure we got it full of fuel, and then we'll head to Berkey and see where Phil's at with drying corn, and hopefully do a little shelling today. Okay, the generator's filled up, tires are good. I even threw some lights on for safety. Time to head to Berkey. You may be wondering why we use generators to run our grain system, and there are a few reasons. Well, there's a few advantages and one big reason, let's put it that way. So the advantages are, number one, we can run 480 volt three-phase power. On our grain system we have several large motors, 40 horsepower, a bunch of 10 horsepowers, and so you have to have three-phase power in order to run those. The 480 volts means we can run smaller wire, they pull less amps, and everything just runs a little bit better. Another advantage is that, well, it works when we need it to work. Oh, hold on. Phone call. Okay, sorry about that. Apparently Rylan got in trouble this morning. Needed some backup. Anyway, so yeah, reasons why we use a generator: 480 volt three-phase. It's there when we need it. We can use it. It's this generator here and the one that we use down to Berkey are portable, which means that we can use them for different applications. One of which being to run our irrigation pump. We have a 75 horse electric motor that runs our irrigation pump when we do that. Maybe next summer you guys will see some more of that. There are a couple old videos showing it, but we'll talk about it a lot more when we get to there. So this generator, I can take it and park it right up where the pump goes, turn it on and go. We don't have to worry about running a electric lines out there or a PTO pump and leaving a tractor run all the time or whatever. So that works really well. So back when we were expanding our grain system, I think it was 2010, I want to say, when we started, or when we bought this generator. And the reason was that we put up a new leg. We went from a 10 horse motor on a leg to the 40 horse, and so we needed more power. And when we talked to the power company about having them bring three-phase power out to us, well, they told us without any checking, without any looking, they just said $100,000 a mile. Well, it's 2.5 miles away, so it was going to be $250,000 just to get the power line run to us. That doesn't include the demand charges and the higher rates that we would have had to pay to then be considered commercial, and so it wasn't worth it. Yeah, diesel fuel is expensive. It costs more than buying power off the line does, but not when you factor in all the additional charges and the cost to get it there. And so that's why we made the decision to buy a generator, and we love that system. It works really, really well. So it kind of makes our electrical systems a little bit complicated, since we have some power, some motors run off the electric lines, and some run off the generator and stuff. But it works really well for us. Well, I made it to Berkey. I got the generator stuffed in the barn in case we need it. Just walking over to the field. Phil has already unloaded the grain cart this morning, which is good. The dryers are running, and we still got probably enough corn to refill both dryers again one more time, so no big hurry to get shelling here. But we do have some empty trucks and some space that we can do a little bit. So I'm going to go check the oil on the combine, get the combine grain tank empty. We'll put that in the grain cart, and then jump right across the road here and open that field up so that we can get the equipment out of the field that we're in right now, because Dad is down there somewhere. You probably can't see him, but he's chiseling, getting these stalks ripped up. So it is a nice day today. It's warmer, but that is making the ground really slippery. I don't know where we're going to park trucks here on this field across the road, because we just don't have a good spot. So we'll see. We got to get the end rows opened up and see what it looks like. So this field over here is probably the wettest one we had down here. There's like 98 acres in this field, and I'm trying to remember how many I planted. I think there's like 23 or 24 acres of unplanted scattered throughout this field. These ends right there were part of it. This side of it was better than the back. Once we get back over that way behind the buildings, it's worse. So we'll see. The ends right here were a different variety than what we were in yesterday over there. This is 107 day versus that 102, and according to the combine it was 30% right here, so that's not good. That means it's going to take longer to dry. Fortunately, all these rows here until we get to the house are back to that 102 days, so yeah, we'll have some more reasonably dry corn, but after that it's going to be really slow going. So I don't know how far we're going to make it today. Like I said, we're going to be stuck waiting on dryers anyway. So all right, well, I've got this opened up. Grain cart is full-ish, and so I'm gonna go back to the farm. We'll have to get a truck. Dad decided to quit. It was getting too slippery. Couldn't get enough traction to pull the ripper very good. Ground is firm underneath. It really was in pretty good shape before we had the snow. It's just the snow is melting, and it's making the top inch or two pretty soft and slippery, and it makes it a challenge. So we're gonna wait until things freeze up a little bit more to do some more ripping, and go eat some lunch and bring the truck back, unload that cart, and we'll just keep pecking away at this corn slowly here today. Had lunch. I'm back at the farm now, or the field here. Brought this truck over here. I called our landlord and the guy that owns this building site here just to make sure that he was okay with us parking trucks in here, and he said as long as I give him a shout out on my YouTube videos, he's cool with it. So if any of y'all need any kind of farmers market stuff, specifically right now, Thanksgiving turkey, and you live anywhere remotely close to Toledo, Ohio, check out Turk's Roost in Toledo. I will have a link to his Facebook page in the description below, and you can go check it out. He does a really good job. He gets produce and stuff from all over the state of Michigan and Indiana and Ohio, and sells stuff at his place down in Toledo by the farmers market there. Yeah, check him out. Turk's Roost, Toledo, Ohio. Buy stuff from him, make him happy so that he lets us keep using his driveway. So I gotta stop and unload the grain cart again, and since I got a few minutes, thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of explain how this corn head works. I sort of did with the bean head a few videos ago, quite a while ago actually. So I haven't done with corn head yet, but we'll talk about it here. Basically, you guys have seen it from the cab, but just to explain how it works a little bit better, the corn goes through these rows here, and it comes in between these flat plates right here, these two. We call those the deck plates. And basically then there's these rollers in here, and those spin, you can see from underneath, those spin together, you know, this way and this way, and basically it grabs that stalk and it pulls it down. And as the stalk gets pulled down, the ear hits these plates and it pops off, and then these chains kind of pull it back up to the top of the head. That auger brings everything right to the middle, and it gets fed in through the feeder house. We do not have a chopping head. Some corn heads are what they call a chopping head, and they actually have like a lawnmower blade that spins around underneath here to chop up the stalks as they come down through it. We don't have that. I've never really felt the need for it. I did put these different snapping rolls on last year. This is the first year we run them. Those are aftermarket company. Our old ones were wore out, and so we put these on, and so far I really like the job they're doing. Seems to work pretty good. Yeah, so that's how that corn head works. This is the kind of the feeder house area of the combine, the throat, I guess, and that corn or beans or wheat or whatever gets sent up through there. And then there's a feed accelerator, a drum in there that spins around and feeds it into the rotor. Sometime this winter when we're cleaning stuff up, I'll kind of show you the insides a lot better and explain really well how that combine works. I also got a question on yesterday's video about what model our combine is and whether it's the only one that we run or not. It is a S680, as you can see there. Which at the time that we bought this is a 2014 model. It's the second biggest combine that John Deere makes. I guess it still is, although they're on a 700 series now. Before we had this one, we actually did run two combines. We had a 9660, which is a little bit smaller and an older combine. I think it was a 2007 model. And we had a 9550 that was a different style. It was a straw walker machine. Didn't have the rotor in it, just different internal components basically. We ran both of those. Kind of the reason that we had two back then is, this ground down here to Berkey where we're farming now, I actually had an uncle who was farming it. And so he kind of managed this 600 acres on his own, and then my dad and Phil and I did the stuff up to Waldron. It was separate, so we each kind of had our own equipment, but we worked together. He would bring it up sometimes when we needed to, if we needed to finish more or not. But he actually passed away 10 years ago, and we started farming both. We ran both combines for quite a while, but kind of made a decision when we were looking to upgrade to something different that it would be better to run one big combine and kind of focus our labor instead of trying to run two combines. We never ran two combines in corn anyway, just because we didn't have the manpower to keep the corn away from it. We can barely keep it away from one, much less two. So we only ran it in, basically just in beans. We did run it in wheat some. But it wasn't worth it to have two combines to maintain, two combines to have a driver for. So by going to one big combine, we felt like we would pick up some efficiency. We do feel like that's the case. It has worked. Yeah, I really like having that one big one. The 40-foot bean head, that Draper, makes beans go fast. We can do more in one day with that one combine than we ever did with two smaller combines. So that's how we decided to do it. This combine is plenty big to run a 12-row corn head, but we kind of run into that same thing, as we just don't have the manpower and the trucks to keep the grain away from it, and we'd be sitting around waiting on our dryers all the time anyway, so it's not worth it. We can run an 8-row, matches our 16-row planter up really well, and it works for us. So that's the story with our combines. That's why we've got what we've got and how it works. Hopefully in another year or two or three somewhere, we'll be thinking about upgrading combines again. The last one, we bought that 9660 and ran it for 7 years. This is the 6th year we've run this combine, so we're getting to that point where it's about time to think about trading, but we're not there yet. So it works good for us. It's amazing how fast the corn comes out of that auger. Oh, it is not pretty out here. Sloppy. Real sloppy. Well, that's what the tracks on the cart are for, right? It is not good when you have over 30% slip just pulling a cart. There's nothing in the ground. We're just trying to get to the truck. Not good. Not good. So I found some cool slow motion video settings on my phone camera here. Check out these way cool videos, and kind of shows how that corn head works. I was talking about there, where the snap and rolls drag the corn down, and you can see it happening, and then the ears pop off when it hit the deck plates. The goal is for all of the stalk and leaves and everything but the ear to go right down through those snap and rolls and not go through the combine. It doesn't always happen, as you can see by all the tops that we're bringing in, but that's how it's supposed to work. Pretty cool views. See, I told you they were cool. What'd you think? Okay, here is the current situation. I've made it out of these short rows into the longer rows here now. I'm not going to be able to make a round over here without a grain cart. And since Ben didn't come down today because we didn't really need him, I don't have a grain cart driver. So the ground conditions are actually really bad as well, which we're hoping it gets better, but it is supposed to get down to 20 degrees tonight, so that will make the ground freeze up at least for in the morning for a little while. But then it's supposed to be fairly warm the next few days, so hopefully it dries out because it isn't going to freeze for us. So anyway, basically what it means is for tonight, this is going to fill this grain cart. I'm going to unload it into a truck over there by the barn, and then we're going to call it a night. We've got enough wet corn to run one more dryer batch through everything after the ones that we're just getting started now. So whether that happens tonight or tomorrow morning, I don't know. We also have to transfer some corn out of one of the dryer bins, that small one there, because it's getting full. And so we're kind of just going to wait for stuff to freeze up tonight and go in the morning, try and fill everything up so we got some wet corn to dry for, hopefully, for at least the rest of tomorrow, maybe a couple of days until things dry out. So that's the plan. It's unfortunate. I would much rather just keep working until we get everything full here, but the ground is way too wet, especially on these ends where we're running that cart down, and it's making everything really, really muddy. Bad working conditions. So we ended up doing just over 21 acres today, which I get is not a lot of acres. It's not a great day. However, combining is not the bottleneck here. It's certainly the dryers. So doesn't matter how much we combine, as long as the dryers are moving and we're not slowing those down, we're doing as good as we can do. So dryers have been drying all day. We've got enough to keep them moving here. We'll probably be about out of wet corn by the morning, but that's okay because we'll come down here, hopefully get a decent early start and start shelling, and things should keep moving. We're getting closer, so we're up to what, a little over 80. We're about a third of the corn down here is done, so we're down to about 160 acres out of the 250 we started with. Hey, hopefully we'll get more than 20 acres a day on average, but we're certainly getting there. I have a feeling that we're about to run out of this drier corn. I think I've got another maybe 30 or 40 acres of this 102-day corn that we've been in that's 23-24%. After that, it jumps up to 107 and 108-day stuff that I have a feeling is going to be closer to 30, which will slow the dryers down even more. So nothing I can do about that. But let's go get the grain cart unloaded and take that truck out. Another part of the reason that we're stopping is, yeah, the ground conditions here on these ends are really bad. But, you know, even though Dave's letting us park the trucks in his driveway there and taking them out that way, we're still going to tear his driveway up in his lawn because it's soft and you got to swing wide enough to not hit the trees and everything. And so we don't want to do that if we don't have to, or at least minimize it as much as possible. And so no reason to push it tonight when it's going to freeze, and we can do a better job tomorrow morning. Keep moving, baby. Keep going. We're sliding. I know this crane cart's heavy, but man, you should be able to move it, you would think. Yeah, not exactly going the way the wheels are pointed. Who's gonna clean this up? All right, well, we have enough corn to fill the big dryer one more time tonight. It's probably about 6 o'clock now, I think, so Phil's gonna stick around for a little while tonight and fill that, and I'm gonna head home. We're gonna come back in the morning. Hopefully it'll be frozen and we can get a bunch of corn out before it thaws. That's the plan. I'm gonna give Ben a call here tonight and see if he can't come down in the morning to run the grain cart. If not, Dan will have to, but I think he's gonna try and come down early and do some more ripping while the ground's frozen. It's not so sloppy. We just really need it to dry up. That would make things go so much better. But anyway, that'll be the end of today's video. So yeah, like it, subscribe, leave me comments, ask questions, whatever you got there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hope you're enjoying them. Have a good night.